How much weight should you lift in different arm wrestling exercises to be considered strong? In this video, I'll try to answer this question based on my observations and my own opinion. First, I have to make clear that these are just estimations and it is impossible to answer this question 100% right. There is no guarantee that you'll be a good arm wrestler if you lift certain numbers, but it gives you a good picture on where your level is when it comes to lifting weights for arm wrestling. The most important part is to be able to apply your strength on the arm wrestling table. First, I'll present the exercises, and secondly, I will explain how I am going to define the term strong. The exercises are back pressure, the way Hermes Gasparini does it, which is the best way to test the strength of your brachioradialis. One arm bicep curls, great exercise to test the strength of your bicep. Finger pull with the eccentric handle. Here we'll also have to discuss about the diameter of the handle. Wrist dumbbell curls at 45-degree angle, an universal exercise that everybody does. And rising the way I like to do it, which is by far the hardest but most effective way. I'll give you the numbers for each exercise in each weight category. The result that you will see represents the weight that should be your 1 rep max. The only way to know how strong you are in an exercise is to know your 1 rep max. That means the weight that you can move clean for 1 repetition. The only exception is the wrist, because the wrist needs a lot of volume to get stronger. So when it comes to the wrist, we talk about 10 RM, which means a weight that you can move clean for 10 repetitions. Now let's define the word strong. For this, I'm going to split the results into 2 different categories. The first category is being strong at the national level. And of course, different countries will have different competition levels, but this is the average, meaning if you have these numbers, you will be top 10 in your weight class, regardless of the country you are in. The second category is being strong at the world elite level, which means top 10 WAF. If you are top 10 WAF in any of the weight categories, you can consider yourself a world elite arm wrestler. With that being said, let's start with the first exercise, back pressure. Start with a straight wrist and make sure that the angle between the rope and your forearm is 90 degrees. The reason I like this variation the most is because this is the purest variation to test your brachioradialis strength. By setting your pulley system low, you make sure that you isolate the brachioradialis muscle. The brachioradialis muscle is mostly responsible for your back pressure, so we want to test it as accurately as possible. Here are the results for this exercise. I have to repeat myself, but it is very important for you to understand that these are just estimations. It doesn't mean that if you lift exactly the weight given, that you will be a champion. Some exercises are also more important for certain styles than others. I make this only so you get an idea of how strong the arm wrestlers are at the top. Now let's take a look at one arm bicep curls. To do this exercise in the most effective way, you will need a squat bench that is vertical, or if you don't have a vertical squat bench, do the exercise as shown in the video. The most important part when you do this exercise is to go deep enough. You have to go down at least until your forearm is parallel to the ground. When your forearm is parallel to the ground, that's when your bicep is producing the most force, and that's exactly the angle that we want to test. Every angle above that makes it much easier. So let your ego aside and test this properly. Now, here are the results for one arm bicep curls. Next exercise on the list is wrist curls at the 45-degree angle. Fix your leg at the 45-degree angle and start with a straight wrist. On every single repetition, go down until your wrist is straight. Make sure that your leg stays fixed and you don't help yourself by pushing your knee forward. The wrist should do all the work. The diameter of the dumbbell should be so big that you can hold it comfortably in your hand. Don't take dumbbells that are too thick because you might injure yourself. It's always important to do the exercises clean, but especially this one, because it is so easy to cheat yourself. As I said before, when it comes to the wrist, we talk about 10 RM. That means the weight results that you are going to see should be curled for 10 clean repetitions. Here are the results for the wrist dumbbell curls at the 45-degree angle. Let's move on to finger pulls with the eccentric handle. Set the pulley system in a way so that the weight comes from above. It's extremely important to start with a straight wrist. The more your wrist is bent in, the easier it gets. I like to take an eccentric handle with a diameter of 50 millimeters up to the 80 kilogram category. Between 80 and 100 kilogram, the 60 millimeter eccentric handle is a great choice. And above 100 kilogram, the 70 millimeter handle will serve you best. Now, let's take a look at the results for this exercise. And the last exercise on the list is rising. The setup is exactly the same as the back pressure exercise. Make sure you have a 90-degree angle between your forearm and the rope and start with a straight wrist. Grab the belt and make sure the belt goes down exactly on your knuckles. Don't do any of that weird wrapping around 15 times to make it easier. When you max out your riser and you pull the weight up very explosively, your riser has a much higher chance to give up. My tip for you is to pull the weight up slowly, with control. This will ensure that your riser stays in place. It's also more beneficial for the muscle-mind connection to do the reps slowly, regardless of the exercise. Here is the result table for rising. This is my opinion on how strong you should be at the national level and world elite level. Write down in the comment section what your numbers are and what you want to achieve in the sport of arm wrestling. If my videos are helping your arm wrestling game grow, consider supporting the channel. Link is down below. Keep your eyes on this channel, great stuff is coming.